Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today and we are on our final scent of the Forgotten Words. Final one. That's right. So I think that is the first one, which it is right here. Let's try this. Let's get this going. A little bit of excitement. Let's see if we can smell it. Can't actually smell this one, so that's interesting. But the rest of them I've been able to. I mean, I guess it's not really that interesting. It's just, I'm just making conversation. So this one is Songgari. So Inflorescent is what it's called. And in Korean, it's Songgari. I know my pronunciation's not that great, I try. Which means an array of flowers or fruit on a single stem. This enchanting floral scent features clustered florals with the touch of tartness from Schisandra berry and mulberry rounded with the softness of white amber and musk. It's a scent that will make your heart flutter. There you go. So this is what it looks like. I mean, all the bottles look like that, but that's their advertising if you care. That is $135 USD for 50 milliliters. You can also get it for 100 if you would like. And that's gonna bring it up to 210. There you go. So the notes are, I do not know this one, but it is the Schisandra berry and mulberry. The heart is lily of the valley, love. Plum blossom, love. Honeysuckle, love. Base, white amber, love. Sandalwood, love. Musk, depends. My body loves those musks. So here we go. Yeah. So here we go, 2 here, and then 2 in the clothing. 1. That was kind of a half one, but that's okay. These tend to do really well. Ooh. So the first thing that comes through is a couple things. I get a floral immediately, and tart. So I get this tartness that cuts through immediately of a berry. Very much aware of that. So I know one of them was the one that I couldn't pronounce very well. I don't know that one. And then mulberry. Now I know what a mulberry is, but I don't necessarily, I've eaten it before, but I don't remember the note per se. I just know that there is a sharp berry scent coming through. Now I don't know either of these, but the Schisandra berry or the mulberry, I don't know either of those, but I definitely am getting, so that comes first. You get a blast of the berries, and then, you know, maybe you can recognize them a little bit more than me. I just know they're berries. Then from there, you get that beautiful tartness. Underneath it is a blast of floral. Definitely honeysuckle. I love honeysuckle. I can pull honeysuckle out of anything because I love honeysuckle. It just makes my little 8-9-year-old self feel so good. It does. My inner child is happy right now because that was my scent. When I was 5, 6, it was rose. When I was 8 or 9, it was honeysuckle. So it's just my thing. And it's beautiful. So I'm definitely getting that honeysuckle coming through with the light lily of the valley because I know them both. So that brightness of the berries and then that beautiful headiness of the flowers. That's really lovely. It's really lovely. And there's a little bit of spiciness to it. Just a little hint of spiciness hanging in there. So just to make it a little bit more interesting. So it's not just, which berry florals are kind of interesting in themselves. I mean, I've seen them before, but it's like the way they did it, it just, what I'm seeing with Elorea is everything tends to just connect really well like this. Like they enmesh really well. And you could definitely pull out the notes, but it just feels like one entity. So you get that a lot with this. Now I know that there was, I think they said sandalwood, was it? I'm not getting, no, yep, sandalwood and white amber and musk. I'm not getting the musk. Definitely getting that spiciness. I'm wondering if a little of that is from lily of the valley. I don't know. It could be the other berry that I don't know as well. But it's interesting because with these 2 flowers put with the berry, it almost has a rose undertone to it. It's not rose. I could tell the other two flowers that are there. I don't get the plum blossom so much, but something is happening to almost give it a rose quality. Though I know it's not rose. But let's try it on the shirt. On the shirt, you definitely get that tartness. It's tart from the berries with the beautiful underlying light florals of the honeysuckle and the lily of the valley. Yeah, so in my chemistry, there's something a little bit spicier coming through than it does on the clothing. But, you know, I tend to pull out those spices and those animalic and musky scents and cumin. We can't forget cumin. No. So there you go. If you love cumin, I'm all for it. It just doesn't work well in my chemistry, but there you go. So I give cumin a rough time. We're like this all day. But yeah. This is very bright, very refreshing. This one is actually very uplifting. They all are, is what I'm finding in this. But with the other three, I always found there was something grounding it a little bit more, while this is all up. There's nothing yet. Usually I'll get an upper, middle, and lower. With this, I'm just getting all upper. As far as what I mean by that is, this just is all heady. With the other ones, there was always something grounding it one of them, the last one, Be By My Side, was it? Be By My Side, there was like rose, an undercurrent of rose underneath, which kind of was like, come back down to earth a little bit. I'm not getting that with this one yet. Maybe it'll change in the next hour. That's possible, but right now it's just kind of like very heady. Very heady, very happy, and I mean, it's inflorescence, which to me just means light, airy, you know, so it makes sense. So there you go. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is let this one sit for a while and see where it goes, just because I'm curious. Right now it tends to be very what it is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. These don't necessarily morph as much as other companies, but sometimes they do. Sometimes they surprise me. So we're going to check back in an hour. Okay, so it has been an hour. My kitty is kicking me off the bed. She owns the place and she won't move. So the angle may be weird. I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants. So it has been an hour and I've been using Inflorescence, and I can still smell it right around here. Still has really good projection. It's very light, very uplifting still. I mean, they say it is, and it truly is uplifting. But it's very light. I think out of the 4 scents of this collection, this one's probably the lightest as far as, again, I'm not getting a grounding note so much like the other ones. Even Hazy Blue, which is, you know, atmospheric. I don't know. There's something to it that gives it a little bit more meat. This one's very light, very gentle. You know, it's a beautiful, bright floral. And I think that's because of the berries. So let's try it. Okay, so I'm definitely getting the berries coming through, the brightness and tartness of the berries. And there was rose for a while. Even though there's no rose in here, the florals were coming together for almost a rose flavor or scent. It's kind of interesting. That's dissipated, at least on my chemistry. I'm definitely getting Lily of the Valley more, and then the musk is coming through. So definitely getting that musk. Now, my skin loves those musks, so on my chemistry, musk is always going to come through, and it most definitely is at this time. So it's a quick, when you first breathe it in, that tartness, and then it's the underlying floral of the Lily of the Valley, and then the musk. So in that way, it's very grounding. But I have a feeling it's very different on the shirt, because when I'm walking around, I'm getting whiffs mostly from that, which doesn't have as much musk. So let's check it out. Okay, yep, that's definitely the case. So the musk isn't coming through as much on the shirt, which isn't a surprise. My body really loves those musk notes. So I'm like, oh, shocking. So definitely not getting that as much on the shirt. When I move, that's mostly where the projection is coming from. So It's mostly the flower component, so lily of the valley and a little bit of honeysuckle that's coming through. Not getting the musk. I'm actually not getting the berry note as much either. Yeah, it's mostly lily of the valley with just a hint of honeysuckle. So it's gone to more of just a floral note. It also doesn't have that bright cut of the berries at this point, which is kind of surprising that it's coming through more on my chemistry. I think on my chemistry, the scent has more complexity to it than it does on the clothing. So I kind of like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it on the clothing. It's just a little bit more simplistic than it is on my chemistry. So it may play differently on your chemistry as well. I just feel like it brings a little bit more complexity than it does on the shirt. You know, it's pretty much just a floral right now on the clothing. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfect for spring, perfect for summer, very light, very lovely, but not as complex. So there's that. But yeah, very beautiful. Still around here, quite lovely, but it just doesn't, like I said, it's very gentle in comparison to the other ones. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have, that you can't smell it around here. But the difference is that it doesn't have, I don't know, like one of those like bass notes to really ground it, except on my chemistry. So there you go. So that is the hour mark. We are going to check in 4 hours and see where Inflorescence has gone. All right, it has been 5 hours and Inflorescence is still around me. Again, it's about in this pocket. It's a little bit closer. It's for hugs and for yourself at this point. But it's still there. And I will say this. I think with most of these, you need a little bit of a refresher. Probably about 3.5, 4 hours in if you want to keep it at the same level. But I will say with this one, I think because of the bright notes, I smell it a little bit more than maybe some of the other ones that I've tried so far. But again, that may just be me. And it's mostly on the clothing, not on the skin. So just something to take into consideration. But let's smell it on both places. I think I went British there for a second. That was strange. Okay, here we go. Okay, so on the skin, it's a light floral. Kind of getting hard to decipher because the honeysuckle and the lily of the valley have kind of combined with musk. So it's mostly musk on my skin with a beautiful light floral scent, but being able to decipher it's a little bit more difficult at this point. But again, my skin loves those musks. But the berry note is now gone. So it's very lovely though. I love musk, but sometimes it could be a bit overwhelming on my body chemistry. But actually this blends really well, the musk and the light floral. It's actually quite beautiful. So I like it. It just has become more of a skin scent. And it would probably be different on the clothing than on my chemistry. Yep, on my clothing, it's more of a floral. I'm not even getting that berry note anymore, but to be fair, it was a top note. So this is more of a light floral. I'm getting that honeysuckle, but I'm mostly getting lily of the valley. I'm not getting much of the musk, but I am getting a little bit of what I would say is like an ozone effect to it. It almost has the kind of it doesn't say it has ozone, but I almost get that effect from it, from the floral, because they're so light and frilly. So there you go. Yeah, but it definitely could use a little bit more spritzing to bring it back to its former glory. It is 5 hours. Again, if I hug somebody or I move around, I can smell it in this kind of a bubble. But probably at the 4 hour mark, I would give it another spray just so I can have it out here. Just because I like that a little bit more. But these are never going to be overwhelming scents. So they're very light. They're very pretty. So yes, if I were going to rate Inflorescence, and I know this was a quick review, but it didn't really alter much. I think this one, in a lot of ways, kind of stayed where it was. After the hour mark, it just stayed. So it didn't really morph. It just got weaker, if that makes sense. So I think out of the 4 of these, I think this one was a little bit more like this, linear, if that makes sense. But if I were going to rate this one, I would definitely give it about a 7. And the reason why is it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful floral scent, and I really like when the berry came through. And even though it's a little bit on the clothing, it isn't necessarily something that we haven't, smelled before. On my chemistry, I liked what it did with the musk. I really liked that, and I liked it when I had the berry on there as well. But even after it passed on, I love the musk with the lily of the valley and the honeysuckle. I think it's really beautiful. My chemistry, I just wish it was a little bit bolder. But still, I would give this one a 7. I really do like it. I think it's really beautiful. I think these are all these are for every gender. But if we were going to classify, let's just do it. I would put this leaning a little bit more towards feminine than masculine, but who cares? Wear what you want, because I know I do. So there you go. But due to the florals, sometimes people do tend to think that that may be a little bit more feminine, but I know plenty of guys who wear them. So it doesn't really matter, but it does, I think, lean just a little bit more feminine if you want to label things. And then on top of it, I would say it's more of a spring summer scent because it is very light. And I think in fall or winter, it might get a little bit lost. So there you go. And if you have humidity, it may kick this up a little bit more, but it's very sweet. It's very beautiful. It's very light and airy. It's like running through a field with flowers and, like you've seen. You've seen that. That's what this is. It's very much that type of scent. Okay, so now that we're pretty much done with the forgotten words, we're not going to rank them yet. We're going to do that once we get through all 12 and then speak about them. But what I do like about this set is that, what I like about it is that they're all very different, extremely different. They all give you a different idea of what's going on here. You have hazy blue, which is very much, up in the air. You really do get that atmospheric feel of it, versus the inflorescence, which is very light, which is very spring, summer. It's airy, but in a different way. It's in a floral way. While hazy blue, like I said, is like the ozone. It's very much atmospheric. And then gentle showers is a very clean, beautiful scent. It's gorgeous, but it's very light and a little bit more earthy. While you have Be By My Side, which is ginseng based and just, it's ginseng without being medicinal, but I feel like it's really earthy out of all of these. And so they all have a very much different profile that I think matches Korea quite well. So I think this was their second collection. And so what we're going to be talking about next is their original collection, which was the Elements. So this is what we're going to be going into next of the next 4. So that's exciting. We got through this. Life is good. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to bid adieu to everyone, unless you are interested in what I did when I was in Korea, because I want to celebrate the Korean culture, much like the founders who are very proud of their Korean culture. So I want to share the adventures that I have while I was in Korea. So there you go. So one of my favorite things, actually probably the top thing that I did while I was in Korea, was go to the DMZ. Yes, you can do this. I went with the USO tour, and basically what it is you go to the line between South and North Korea. Yes. So you can actually do this, and it is kind of spendy, especially for a day trip, but I didn't care because this was kind of a once in a lifetime thing. Do understand that if you go, which kind of shocked me, you do have to sign your life away, and I do mean it. So when you go in, to be able to go to the line and look over into North Korea, when you come out and stand on the line or next to like where the South Korea like military base that's there, you'll see in famous photos. It's interesting because the North Korean soldiers come out and they look at you and take pictures. Now I've been told that maybe they don't actually have film in it because, or digital, that it may not actually be happening. we don't know. But the reality is, it's interesting because you step on the line and people step out and they start taking pictures of you from the North Korean side. You have to keep your hands to your side and you are allowed to take photos like this, basically. But you have to break up in lines like you're in kindergarten and have like people surrounding you. And because of that, they do require you to sign your life away in case you get shot or something. It's not South Korea or the US's fault. So there you go. That was really unnerving to me, but you get it back at the end so you can frame it on your wall when you come back home. It's strange. But it was very interesting. I think it's an interesting history. Korea has a very interesting history. But this is a little bit more modern. And so we're still seeing the effects of that today. I can't really explain it. It was very charged. More charged than I expected. Because you can feel the atmosphere of where you're standing. And then you can go into this room where there were meetings at one point where, I don't know if it's still used that way, but like South Korea would be here and North Korea would enter. There's two doorways, one from north, one from south. And you go in and they would meet at this table if they wanted to, and they would discuss things. So kind of interesting. You can step into North Korea. You can't go through the door. There's a guy ready to kick your head in if you do it. He's South Korean, but they do the rock pose, and you can step close, but just know if you get too close, you're gonna get knocked on your butt. So you don't do that. Don't do that. Behave. But then you can go to different places on a bus in the tour. You can see the Freedom Bridge or the Bridge of No Return, I think it's called, where they used to use that and like switch people. So some people go back to North Korea, some people come to South, and it was basically you're never going back to either of the country you originally came from. That's it. Once you pass that area, it's done. They no longer use that, but it's still kind of a historic point. There's things that you can use to see into North Korea. Yeah, you can put like $1 in, and then you could look over. It really is a bizarre. It really is a bizarre experience, but I found it to be a very interesting experience. This will take about 6 hours of your day. You do need to show ID. It's no joke. And if you don't have certain information on you, you're not going on the tour and you are not getting your money back. But just know it can also be canceled. If diplomats show up, you can get bounced and you don't get your money back. If something happens as far as security happening, you will not get your money back. It's just the luck of the draw. We almost got bumped that day, but it turned out that the dignitary ended up showing up earlier, so we did get a go, but we almost did get bumped. So just know it is a little bit of a risk. But if you ever want to be in a situation that's something that just it did not feel comfortable. It was very interesting. It was probably one of the most interesting travel things I've done, just because there's nothing else like it. But I think it's once in a lifetime type thing. I think I've done it and I'm good. Because it just, the whole time I was standing there, I was like, I just signed my life away and this feels weird. Even being with the US military and the South Korean military, it just feels strange. You can definitely feel the tension. Yeah, it's a trip. If you've never done it, that's the one thing I really do highly encourage. Instead of just eating the delicious food, going to the popular neighborhoods and shopping, look at some of the cultural things, because there's a lot of it, and some of it historically interesting, much like the DMZ. So yeah, very heavy, but very interesting. So yeah, that is number 4 of my cultural experiences or things that I enjoyed while in South Korea. So there you go. Yes. So next we will be talking about the elements from Elorea next. We will start into that, and I am excited. Yes. So until next time, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.